Kids and cadets, welcome back to Tommy Time. The scrapper that delivers called me a couple hours ago. He said, hey, can I stop by? I've got 3 units. They're probably going to be parts units for you. And so I said, sure. So a lot going on. The other scrapper that I usually meet halfway, he brought me a Craftsman in great condition, and then I'm working on another project, another Troy built high wheeler. So I got my hands full. So I thought we'd look over these 2 orange beauties, and then we got a little turd over there, a Bolens turd. So looking at the date codes on the I got 2 huskies here, an all-wheel drive, and I have a regular pusher. It's not a drive unit at all, just a standard pusher. So this is a 2016. All 3 units, the handles were folded down. So right away, we've got the drive cable on this. We got both bars, but there's no safety brake cable. As you can see, it's missing. So this needs some work. Also, recoil's missing, obviously, and no carb. It needs the double linkage carb, the automatic choke carb, plug wire, which is taped up, and there's no plug in the head. So I don't know what the deal with this. Somebody ended up pulling parts off of it, so it gets a turd. I'll give you the model number of this, and then we'll turn it over and check out the underside. Just looking at the wheels, doesn't look like it has seen a lot of use. Wheels are used, they're not new, but the tread depth is awesome for an all-wheel drive unit. This hasn't been worked a lot. So this is the Lima Charlie 221 Alpha is the model number, 21 inch. The product number 961 45002600 for the product number. So let me move this over one-handed. Okay, still got the blade, some surface rust. Blade looks flat. Let me try to get this all the way. We got a sandbar coming out of this thing. So the pulleys here are not budging. One of them is. This one's tight, and that one's not doing anything. So those need to be lubricated, or we may need some bearings. It's not uncommon to turn these over when I get them and find some of these pulleys to be froze up. Flat here, but I can put an edge on that. I can probably reuse this blade. So I don't know why this thing died. Somebody stole a bunch of parts off of it. But I think it's a good candidate for resurrection. I probably have most of this stuff that I need in stock. I got new safety brake cables, carburetors, used carbs, and used recoils. So not a bad looking 2016. Let's move down the row here. Another 2016. This is a Honda powered machine. Probably the GCV 160. It's hard to tell. I'd have to look at the stamping and the block. But generally, that's what these things are. Recoil missing, no cover on the carburetor. I don't know what the deal with this thing is. Maybe the recoil broke, handles off. There's a bolt missing here and the handle. It's got it on that side. So this was all folded down. We got some brush growing over the deck. Dirt gobbers made a nest here. And a bunch of sand throughout the recoil. Same thing with this. Tires look good. Pounding manhole covers. It's down to the last notch on the wheel adjustment, so that's no good. They hit everything within a 3-mile radius. So it's been sitting a while when you have the vines growing up through the muffler. It was in somebody's backyard. They got tired of looking at it. Oh, here's the filter in the cover. Okay, so that helps me out. New filter we'll put on it, but we got the cover to reuse. So that's nice. So a little bit of parts on this, and I think this one will be a good candidate. We got the side chute plus the trap door. That's always helpful. Let's try turning this thing over if we can. Remove Mr. Snake and the turd. So all three of these are not going to be quick and easies. They're going to require me to look for parts, maybe buy some parts. But I think they're all doable. So at $10 each, I think I'm fine. You guys will have to tell me what you think when we get to the end here. So the cable's on this thing, but it's broken. Broken cable on this standard pusher Husky. Yeah, this thing's just dropping pieces left and right. So let's get under here and look at this rust and model numbers. Who do we got coming in? We got what's that tail say? Looks like American Airlines. So this is the 7021 Papa, the model number or the product number 961 33001905. 21-inch standard pusher, high rear wheel. Like I said, tread on this thing is not so bad. Blade looks decent. Tip isn't worn out. Needs an edge, but it's salvageable. So we got a ton of cobwebs under here. Some mold on the grass, so this thing's been sitting in some dampness, and it's been sitting a long time unused. So he didn't give me any bags with any of these units. Okay, right away we see something here. Here's your adapter, and the blade spun off of the adapter, so this thing hit something. There's your adapter. This thing tweaked and broke off the stubbies, your two little stubbies here. This thing spun off of those. Okay, I can see a nick right there. Kind of a big chip right there in the blade. Maybe that was the strike point. Didn't see that earlier. Leading edge here is fine, but over here we got a big chip. So we may have a keyway issue on this. Yeah, look at all the leaves this thing sat. But they left us with the 3 nuts. 3 nuts are always nice to have. Okay, another low rider. When I put this thing on the ground off of the truck, I said, oh, that's a bag of turds. As you remember in one of my previous videos this week, we got a whole bag of turds. This thing takes them all. Turdy turd. I think I got 6 new turds. Can't even get my fingers under this thing except for right there. Adjuster here broke off. Lowest position. So I don't know why they were doing that. Recoil rope has seen a better day. You can't do much with that. And I just knocked off my vice grip. I was going to try starting this, and I just knocked it off with the handle there. So this is 2009, 6-month, 10th day of 09 on this. I'd have to get some sandpaper and try to read the engine number. I think I can do it. Looks like 110 T502047 Bravo 1 0906105554. Yep. 10 Tango 502047 Bravo 1 is the engine number, 2009 model number. So we got it up. What's under here? We got a blade with some sandblasting. So it does have a blade surface rust under there. So I wonder what ails this one. I see an oil leak right there under the muffler. When I looked this thing over initially, the plug wire was off. The plug, it's got a champion plug. I'm going to get a screwdriver, remove that. The air filter's backwards. I got to put the vice grip back on. Reason being is the cable shot. The cable is stiff. It's not moving the linkage here. So let me put you back on the stand and get busy. We got Happy Juice. I'm sure we're going to need Happy Juice for this, because I doubt somebody put this to the curb for no reason. Okay, we got a screwdriver. I had the vice grip on this, and it did pull over, so it's not locked up. Okay, we got a good looking filter. Somebody's taking care of this thing. Let's see what the gas tank looks like. This thing might be salvageable. It's got a little bit of gas in it, but a ton of leaves and dirt in the fuel. Whoever was fueling this put everything under the sun in the tank. If this thing fires off, we're gonna put fresh fuel in here and see if we can get this thing to run on its own. So let me remove this air filter. What I want to do is shift this over to the concrete, because when I start this thing, it's going to be a total sand blasting episode. And if I've got my air filter off, I don't want to kick up a big sandstorm. This is not Saudi Arabia. It's not Egypt. It's Southwest Florida, and we don't like sandstorms. Let me move this bag of turds onto the concrete. Okay. Okay, let me do the vice grip deal. How you guys doing? What's happening? What's shaking? Who's baking? Okay, now we're back in business. For the fun of it, since we're going to try starting this, what's the oil look like? I got to get this thing off the ground. Who would ever cut their grass like that? You're going to hit every rock and stick and kill the grass along the way. You got to have some blade length on it to get it to grow. If you want to kill it, just get a gallon of Roundup and do it that way. Overfilled, we're up to here, and it should be down here. So I'm just going to try starting it for a minute. Oil's probably been puking out of this thing. There's some oil there, and that's probably what the oil I saw under the muffler. And you can see all this here as well. All that sand and oil. Okay, let me remove my turds. I don't want to damage those. Those are valuable. Okay, I'm going to prime this thing. It did prime, ironically, so there's enough fuel in the bottom of the tank. Let me yank on this. Feels like it's got compression. Let me happy juice it. And if it starts, I'll put fresh gas in it. The little tiny bit of gas in the bottom of the tank may be bad. If I put enough fresh gas in there, I think we can overcome that crappy gas that may be in this thing. Okay, let's try it. Plug issue. Okay, if I juiced it directly and we didn't get any kickoff, we may have a bad plug. So they beat the crap out of this thing. Rope is shot. Maybe the plug is bad. Okay, we're not getting shit. Between priming it and my happy juice, nothing. Let me pull the plug. I've got a couple of these Pulsar style plugs around. We got Southwest coming into town. Let me pull that plug and see what we can do. My tool setup is kind of wonky. I had gone down to Fort Myers to pick up my brother's Corolla from the auto auction, and I ended up throwing a bunch of extra tools in the CRV. I was a Boy Scout once, and I'm always prepared. You don't want to be, wow, I almost killed myself. You don't want to be away from home and not have what you need. So I try to think of every possible scenario. So, almost killed myself trying to get this thing off. And it appears it's oil soaked. It's all gunked up here with oil or dirt, I don't know. But no spark because we don't have a gap there. Totally filled up with oil or some foreign material. So I'm not even going to goober this one. I'm just going to grab another Champion plug. So that's what our issue was. No gap here because it's full of sand or rust or something. Okay, now we know what we're cooking with. You just go down the list. Give it some fuel. If it doesn't behave properly, you look at spark next. Okay, I took some of my mower stuff out of the CRV, so now I gotta do a little walkie walk. Okay, now we're in business. I got some plugs here. Who do we got? Another Southwest flight, 2 in a row. So this looks like a decent one, an RJ19LM. Doesn't look like it's used. What do you say we put this fine product into this Bolens turd and see what happens next? For shits and giggles, I'm going to pull this thing over and see if any snot comes out of the cylinder head here. I don't see much, maybe a couple of drops of oil. So what do you think? Overfilled with oil. It was getting into the cylinder and just fouled the shit out of that other Champion plug. Do you think that's a reasonable explanation? Carbon built up on the plug and eventually we had no gap whatsoever. Okay. Maybe I'll give it a shot here through the tank and see if it's happy or not. I want a happy Bolens, not a sad Bolens. Nothing. Little kickback on the carb. I see a puff of smoke coming out of the carb. Okay, we're going to happy juice, then take the plug off, make sure we don't have a bad coil. So we're really running this thing deep on troubleshooting, wouldn't you say? We're going down every rabbit hole and snake pit within a 3-mile radius. Okay, kicked off. Okay, remove the vice grips to kill it. It did start smoking like the dickens. We're overfilled on the oil. So if I keep running it like this, it's going to foul out the plug like it did initially. So all that oil that had been pouring out of this thing, maybe from the top of the engine there. So if I don't correct that oil issue, we're going to have this again. A plug that's carboned up and there's no gap on it. So kind of surprised on this turd. I didn't think we were going to have luck with it just because of the condition it was in. Broken tab there, lowest position. This thing, I thought maybe we had a recoil issue because this is all knotted up. It's probably been broken 2 times. I feel 2 big knots here. I thought it was this goobered up mess, but the recoil had enough rope to start it. What it was is the overfilled oil created an issue of no spark. So we can do something with this. I'll look for a junk adjuster. I think I've taken some engines off some rusty decks like this. I can steal the adjuster there. We need that. I need to re-rope the recoil. I'll go through the carburetor, do the diaphragm change out. So I think this will make a nice little turd when I'm done with it. Anyway, appreciate you coming out, checking out these 3 fine beauties. This one's going to be okay. The 2009. And I'll paint up the recoil with some gloss black, all that surface rust, paint that up, make it look pretty. And it should sell rather well. Degrease it with my oven grill spray. We'll make something out of this 21-inch Bolens with the 550 engine. It happens to be the model number 11 Alpha-414 Alpha 065. The serial number 1 Delta 280 Kilo 71045. Also the 183623. I don't know what that number is, but I see it on all of these MTD products. Anyway, thanks for coming out, looking at these 3 for 30. Great group of turds on these. Happy with them. Some parts and some time, and we're going to get these up and running. Probably not this season. Like I said, season's coming to a close. Not selling a lot, so I'm not in any rush until next year. So this is going to be winter projects. I know you guys are messing with snow blowers, but in the winter time I'm messing with mowers for next year's cutting season. Okay, that's all I got. Still double turding the Bolens. We're not out of the woods yet. It still qualifies as a double turd. You see that? My turds are getting worn out. That's why I bought that 6-pack of turds. You can always use a 6-pack of turds at Tommy time because all this junk is mostly turds. Anyway, continue to tip your waitress generally and the wait staff. They're doing an awesome job. Thanks for coming out. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'm kind of happy with what I see for 30 bucks, especially this double turd here. Didn't really expect this thing to do anything. Some light troubleshooting, and we had some luck. Since you're here, I'm going to get a pick and dig out this thing. You can see all the build up there. I just want to see how much carbon from that overfilled crankcase really goobered this thing up. Hold on. This is like one of them bonus things where you sit around after the movie's done, everybody piles out, but you're there. Oh yeah. We got some gooberization going on. Really oily, and it's all gunky crap. Oil and grit. Oily grit. Yeah, the oil's just flowing right there. It's really coming out now that I'm digging down deep. You get the big picture. So this plug could probably be cleaned up. Get rid of that oil and sand, carbon. Doesn't look too bad here on the top side. Anyway, bonus segment's done, you guys. Do what you got to do. I'm going to clean up. Call it a day. It's later in the day. Sun's going down. I'm going to sit on the front porch and watch the birds fly by. You guys come back and see me tomorrow. I'd appreciate it. Like and subscribe if you're a new viewer. Thanks for coming out. Try to fix as much junk on 4 wheels as possible in a single day. Hope you guys come back. Have a good one. Thanks. Thank you very much.